Hello and welcome to Stuck in the Elevator Pitch. We're the two dudes and we like to talk, so the only way that we can elevator pitch is when we get stuck in it. Join us in the hot, sweaty metal box of this podcast as we pitch to you a very special Force-Day Star Wars theme park. Happy Star Wars Day, everyone.
Yeah.
To you and your fellow man and Force user. And what's Chewbacca's species?
He's
I just
a
tried to think
Wookiee.
of...
Did you not do
Oh, Wookiee,
what?
that's right. And your Wookiees and your droids and your sentient lightsabers. Sorry, I just gave away I gave away a spoiler for Star Wars Episode 10. I'm sorry. Oh, no.
Sentient lightsabers, that would just ruin everything for Star Wars fans.
They've got little googly eyes on. I'm sorry. That's a pitch for another day, mate.
That just reminds me of Veg Wars. It's the
Veg
Death
Wars?
Melon.
What's Veg Wars?
I'll Google it. Right.
I'm not Googling it.
That's what all this is based off. So you need to Google that first and watch that. No, I'm joking.
Star Wars is based off Veg Wars?
No. What this theme park's based off. I'm joking.
This is a theme park. Oh, I'm excited.
Well,
Can I
okay.
come?
Yes, you can. Right.
Oh, in fact, I've already been. Galaxy's Edge, mate.
Well,
You ain't got
this is
nothing
the
on Galaxy's
thing.
Edge.
So, obviously I've not been to Galaxy's Edge, and I really want to, but I feel like in many ways... Well, no, what Disney have done is they've made it so that Star Wars and the Star Wars land is accessible to everyone. You can go in there without any prior Star Wars knowledge, without really having the lore or anything like that, without really having a massive interest in going to have a Star Wars experience and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I want to create the ultimate Star Wars fan experience. And that's what my aim was. If I sort of overarch it, that's what my aim was, is to sort of go, as a Star Wars fan, as a lifelong Star Wars fan, May the 4th has always been the sort of the time where I watch all the Star Wars films. I'm that kind of fan. I want to create somewhere that I go, I want to go there. I want to experience it. I am a real loser. I don't care.
You watch all Star Wars films every Star Wars day? You do not.
No, I usually do. I did it last time. I put it on my story last time. And anyone who's watching this or listening to this, you go and find me on Instagram or on Facebook, because I bet you all have been doing it again.
Okay, that's fair enough. Should we give people a little rundown on what exists already for those?
Yeah, go for it. You do that.
Like
so I'm going to
us?
be talking mostly.
Okay, so Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is... I can't remember what the planet's called. You go to a planet, which is... Do you remember what it's called?
I want to say it's Dakar, but I might be wrong.
Something like that. And basically you experience life as you were sort of a visitor to a planet. There are two main attraction rides, the first being Flight of a Millennium Falcon or something like that.
Yep.
Basically, you go into a Millennium Falcon cockpit and you fly. If you've listened to our Doctor Who theme park episode, you'll know we reference that there. So you should tune into that if you haven't already. But that's the sort of main attraction, and then the other one is something to do with the Empire. But I probably should have looked these up, shouldn't I? Something to do with the Empire.
It's a big sort of like Empire base that you go through, and
yes,
it's a big experience.
And there's big AT-T feet, and there's droids, and there's stormtroopers, and Kylo Ren's there, and you sort of just sit on it and go through. It's like a little, you're in a thing and you just are taken around. It's like a tour. But the biggest thing I would say out of it, that is sort of what everyone sort of talks about, and I think you sort of have to do as a Star Wars fan. Yeah. I know I would be doing it if I could ever become rich and famous enough to share this podcast to go to there, would be to build your own lightsaber, where you get to choose us from certain elements and put them all together, and you build your own lightsaber with a kyber crystal at the core. And you get to take that home away with you.
Yeah.
That is something that I think me, as the sort of low-level Star Wars fan I am, could not resist spending. Even if it was £200, I'd be like, yeah, but it's a lightsaber. It's my lightsaber.
Yeah. And
stay away.
Here's the thing. the thing for me is, yes, you've got all that, and of course to fly the Millennium Falcon would be a dream come true and stuff like that, and just to be able to be in there and see the Millennium Falcon encapsulating you, it's not bookended at some point. You literally see the entire Millennium Falcon. It would be really, really cool. But for me, one of the things that I really want to experience by going to Galaxy's Edge is actually the world, and this, all of the drinks that are there. They're like, it's Coca-Cola, but it's written in Arbesh. It's written in the Star Wars script. All of it's designed especially to be in Star Wars, and so it's this world that you get to experience.
I think that's key to it as well. It's the world you're in. There are aliens and staff actors who inhabit this world, who you can interact with and who tell you things and places to go. The other big thing to mention that people might not be as aware of is there is an upcoming expansion to Galaxy's Edge, which is a hotel adventure, I think is the best way to describe it, which is an interactive, I think it's 2-day experience where you board a ship and you are away in the stars, not literally, but all the windows, I assume, are like screens and all this sort of thing, and you live an adventure in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Where you're like chased by stormtroopers and all this sort of thing, and that's sort of an even more integrated, in-depth part of it.
So that's where I want to go with, okay? So for me, it's that immersion. That you're thrust into a story, the world, okay? So for me, I will kind of like encapsulate it in this one thing, okay? Because I believe, honestly, you change sides throughout the movies and you sort of decide, I kind of side with this person, I kind of want to be this person and stuff like that. But let's face it, we all want, you've just said, to...
Can I just pause you?
Go on him.
So to guess what this is?
Yeah.
Not specifically, but just because this is Star Wars, I know whatever you say will somehow be controversial.
Oh, no.
However not controversial it is, I'm just like, I already know there is someone listening to this who's like, how dare you say that? You are a criminal. You are not a fake fan.
Yes.
Fake fan.
Well, I don't care.
I'm ready for that.
I've grown up with this all my life, so I don't care. Right. The thing I'd want this to be sort of like...
Yes.
Like you had unit headquarters for your Doctor Who one. So
do
go listen to that because it is honestly brilliant, and this is kind of like a follow-up to that. For me, from my side of things. For me, it has to be the Jedi Academy. You are in the Jedi Temple. And that's creates this giant structure for everything. So everything is to do with the Jedi. That's where, as you say, everyone goes to Galaxy's Edge to create their lightsaber. Of course, you've got that in there. We'll get into that a little bit. But just to sort of start it off, of course, you become a Padawan. That's how you start off. You are a Padawan, and this is for any age. We're not going to say it's only for 8 years old people. This is for any age. You are taken on as one of the oldest Padawans ever.
I can imagine an actor going up to some granddad along for the trip, and he's like, "Oh, you are the oldest Padawan we have ever had. The Force is so strong with you. We can't
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's a built-in immersion there, but of course it allows you to have a hotel that makes sense in the in the world. So of course the Jedi Academy is of course where you start your journey, and of course it's where your hotel is and stuff. So each room will have sites that you can see out of, and it would work in world. So one of the things I love about Star Wars is you can go to different worlds and stuff like that, and that will be going throughout this entire thing. But I was thinking of a way to bring that into your sort of Jedi Academy, like where you live, where you're bunking, I think is probably the best word for it, where you're staying. And I thought, well, let's face it, the Jedi, they are well equipped. They would certainly find a way. So if you were to say, well, I want to be in a Hoth room, I want to be in a room that, it has the sights of Hoth outside the windows and stuff like that. Of course, in world, the Jedi Academy would be going, well, you're from Hoth, so we want to make sure that you're feeling at home here. And so in world, it's almost like a hologram. So it's like technology. And of course, what it would actually be is your room just has the windows, as you say, is in the stars sort of thing. your windows are in Hoth. Or say you were just a space dweller, your windows can be outside the space, and you can have all these different rooms that are specialised to different planets, specialised to different locations that we've seen in the Star Wars universe. You can have Naboo, you can have Ryloth, you could have Coruscant, you can have you can have a Star Destroyer room or something like that sort of just gives you that, okay, I get to experience this as much as it's still part of the story. So that's the hotel. Of course, all the staff are going to be Jedi in the hotel, in the Jedi Academy. All of them are going to be Jedi Masters.
So,
Carry on.
So this is a prequel set sort of universe. That's for story.
Yes, so this is the Jedi Academy on Coruscant.
What sort of... Are we talking prior to Episode 1? Are we talking around Episode 1?
We're talking Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. Interesting.
We're talking that period between
Coruscant.
Episode 2 and Episode 3.
Okay.
So
sort of all that's happening with Clone Wars TV show.
Yeah.
That sort of.
So
okay,
the
good,
reason
good.
why, so in story, the reason why so many Jedi have been sort of like enlisted, enlisted, is because of the fact that they're needing more Jedi to help fight in the Clone Wars. So that's why they've changed their parameters to allow to have older Padawans come into the experience to the Jedi Council and to the to Jedi ranks. So as I said, all staff, they'll be Jedi. They'll all be in different kind of robes. As a staff member, you get to basically follow the same experience of you get to build your lightsaber before everyone else. You get to make sure that you're in the robes that you want to be in and stuff like that. So that they also get the experience of, I'm part of this. This is who I am.
Will they be humans, aliens, a mix?
There'll be a mix.
Okay.
Only in the staff members and stuff, just because it'd be way too much to do it with the people in the experience as well. Of course, if they turn up in costume and stuff, that's completely fine by them. I'm not stopping them. But let's talk about the Jedi Academy. Let's talk about your first experience, because
wait. What if someone comes dressed as Darth Vader? What do you do?
Very good acting, I'll put it that way.
Oh, Darth Vader, no!
Well,
don't kill us!
We go by what George Lucas originally intended in Episode 1, as his first name is actually Darth. So
I believe it.
So let's talk about Jedi Academy. So the whole point in this is that it's an experience that you go through. It's not a case of you decide, I want to go here next, I'm going to go here next. So you start off in Jedi Academy. Of course, you have to build your Jedi. You have to build the kind of person you're going to be. So, of course, you get to choose the robes that you're going to decide to wear throughout this journey. You get to build your lightsaber, but that comes afterwards. So you're going to have the first couple of sessions, the first couple of things are actually going to be lightsaber combat sessions by the people who do things like fencing and lightsaber combat sessions in real life. You're going to be taught how to fight with a lightsaber. Of course, it's all going to be safe, just the same as it would be in real life. It's it's not, you're not going around hitting people and stuff. Just the same as where you'd have almost like martial arts classes. So you have a couple of those, and of course you then have the initiation into the Jedi. But of course, before you can go through your Jedi trials, you first need to prove yourself as a Padawan, and that's where the journey officially begins.
Okay.
So you've gone through this little bit at the start, and then they go, right, we're going to need you to go and prove yourself as a Padawan. You get the choice of 3 missions. So first of all, before you choose these missions, you get to choose your starship. And this is the primary way you're going to be travelling around the park. So you go into, so you're obviously in the Jedi Temple at the time. You know, all the corridors are set up like corridors in the Coruscant things. You get to see, you can look outside and see the Coruscant traffic and stuff like that from the windows, like we see in Episode 3. And then you go downstairs into what you think is a big warehouse, and suddenly you find yourself, as you've walked obviously through a tunnel and stuff, like the same way as you would do in an airport, and you find yourself in a hangar. And all around you are different ships that you can select. They're varying in size, obviously depending on whether you're a family of 4, whether you're a family of 3, whether it's just one person on their own. You're going to have a starship you can choose. Okay? And these starships in real world are actually on like tracks. Yeah. So basically the idea is is almost like tram tracks around the park that allow you to get from one place to another. You don't see the park itself up until the point where you get there, because the idea is just the same as what happens in the Millennium Falcon in Galaxy's Edge. You get into it and you see screens around you which show the world that you're technically actually inhabiting. And then when you say, right, I'm going to go somewhere, it sends you into hyperspace and you see it, but actually you're actually moving, and that creates the same sort of movement sort of thing.
That's really clever.
Right.
That's really clever.
So you get...
So like almost like you can never see the outside of a planet. You leave a door into the ship, and you see the screens which are supposed to represent outside, and then the ship takes off and goes, and it's all sort of simulated. That's smart. That's good.
Okay,
I like it.
The idea is you get in the ship and you can choose from. I'd say there's about 12 different ships you can choose from, because you've got to cater to different sizes of families. But just because you're on your lonesome doesn't mean you can't choose a ship that's, say, very similar to the Razor Crest or something like that, or a ship that's able to house more than one person. Because of course there's plenty of these things, and you'll see there's a bit of a cyclical nature, which means that there'll never be a short amount of ships and stuff.
Yeah.
So you get into whatever ship you decide, and then you get the choice of 3 missions. And we're going to go through each of these. So the first mission you can choose is the Clone Wars Assault. You can have the Rogue Jedi Investigation, or you can have the Infiltration of the Hutt Cartel. So they're the 3 episodes, you can almost call it. So each...
Okay, wait. So just to pause. Let's clarify where we're up to. So you've arrived at your Jedi hotel. You've been trained in a bit of combat. That's like day 1 per se.
Day 1, as well as getting you can build your lightsaber, as well as getting your robes as well.
So is this sort of like, this is day 2, this is where it starts?
So day 2 is, okay, you've gone through your training, you now get to go into your mission.
Okay, and then you choose a ship.
Yep.
And those ships go to one of 3 missions.
Yep.
Being...
Clone Wars Assault.
3 things that you're going to go through.
Well,
Clone Wars Assault.
Clone Wars Assault, Rogue Jedi Investigation, and Infiltration of the Hutt Cartel. Each one of these experiences, each one of these missions, has 3 separate parts to it. So you have an experience, a ride, and either a second experience or a second ride.
Okay.
So let's go through Clone Wars Assault. This you decide. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Clone Wars Assault, and of course that takes you to one of 3 planets. It takes you either to Kamino, Coruscant, or Hoth, where you have to work alongside the clones to take down the enemy. Basically, think live action Battlefront deathmatch.
Okay.
Where it's basically laser tag.
Yeah.
But outdoors.
And you've got a lightsaber, not blast.
No. So, of course, you're still a Padawan. Your lightsaber, you're not able to use it because, of course, in reality, it just doesn't make sense. You can't.
Good plot convenience. You've nailed it there.
So
okay, wait. Let me think of something for you. So, as you land, your lightsaber falls to a point you can't reach.
Yeah.
And so part of the mission is also retrieving it.
I was gonna go with some level of that.
Okay, cool. We've done it. So
you don't have your lightsaber. You have to use a blaster the same way as the clones do. Of course, you've got clones all around you, just like we have like the 501st Legion and stuff like that. Of course, if you're on Kamino, the outside, you're not raining like we actually see on Kamino, but you have the platforms and stuff like that. If you're on Coruscant, you're high up in the sky. You can see the different areas around you, or say, I think Coruscant should probably be the underworld of Coruscant. So you have big high buildings around you and you can't see. Of course, you're all in a warehouse anyway in Coruscant, so you can't see anything. And then Hoth, you're outdoors. It's fake snow everywhere, and you're having to do this team deathmatch style laser tag thing, where eventually you defeat all the enemy. They're not droids. It's just, say, it'll probably be smugglers, Hutt Cartel, bad guys. It'll probably be
what
the
do you do
bank
if it's
bang.
raining?
Well, no, but you're not actually outside.
Okay.
Well, okay, no. I thought the same thing. So Coruscant, you're inside. Camino, you can do outside and it's raining. Hoth, I have a feeling... I'd either say you do it indoors, and so you have like a big... No, I know what you do. Okay, change my idea. Literally, a second.
Okay,
you just
you
said
got
this. Hoth is inside Echo Base, so you're indoors.
Right, beautiful.
Right.
One question being, other packs all like what do you do if it is raining? It's like safety.
So Camino is, yes, it's outdoors. You're gonna have your Jedi cloak, which is waterproof. And yeah, the packs.
Good addition.
The packs are all sort of like, look, it's Disney, okay? They've got the money to invest in making sure everything's waterproof.
That's
everything,
fine. If you say it's waterproof, it's waterproof. I'm a board of direct. I'm a safety man here. I'm just checking in.
Yeah, everything's safe. Of course, since Obi-Wan's last visit, where he almost fell off the edge, there's barriers around all of the platforms now. Got to make sure it's safe.
What's over the edge, though?
What?
What's over the edge of the barriers?
So the idea is it's built like, I'd say 6 foot off the ground, 7 foot off the ground. These platforms are, and as you look down, it's what's it called? Like not styrofoam, but like you know when you have like ball pits and it's foam underneath. So the idea is they're all like dark blues, dark blacks, stuff like that, and you have a wave machine which moves it all. So it means it's like completely safe, but it looks like it's water.
Okay, you've gone to a lot of effort.
I have. Anywho,
I'm on board.
The idea is eventually you defeat the enemy, you capture the flag, which of course is your lightsaber at this point, and then
there you go. Yeah,
you go off to a starship fight. So of course the enemy is retreated. You now need to go jump into your starship and you need to fight them. And of course this is a ride where you're in the starship. It's jumping about. You can see you're having to shoot them down by pressing the shoot buttons on your like flight simulator wheel sort of thing.
Yeah.
And think sort of what's the best? The Galaxy Edge Millennium Falcon ride. Basically, it's that. But of course, you then land on Camino. Of course, if you were on Camino before, that's fine. But you land on Camino because of the fact that that's where these guys have, the bad guys have retreated to. So you land on Camino, you walk into a dark room, and I haven't quite thought about it, but you go, basically your next experience is a VR experience. And this is where your Jedi training comes in handy. Because in VR, you have to face up against a Sith assassin. So your lightsaber training comes in handy here. You're obviously fighting them off, and you defeat the Sith assassin.
Yes.
And of course, you walk through. Once you've finished, you manage to best the enemy, and you finish by walking through the corridors, which is actually the Clone Creation Center, the same as like Obi-Wan went through in Episode 2. You get to see the creation of the clones. Obviously, it's all screen projected sort of thing. And then you go out to the Camino port, where of course there is waiting the starship that you chose to fly in the first, sort of like at the start. Okay. So that's how you get back. Okay. So of course it's a particularly cool thing that then technically flies you back to the Jedi Academy. But that's one of them. Another mission you could choose, of course, was Rogue Jedi Investigation. Here, you are flying your ship, and then, so the first mission is actually a crash landing simulator, and you drop into Felucia, which is the jungle planet from Episode 3, where you see Aayla Secura get killed. So the idea is you're flying, and of course, all of a sudden, you're like, you get like your spaceship starts to judder and stuff, and you get told you need to go into the escape pod. Of course, the escape pod's round the back. This is actually the way that you get into the drop ride. So you then sit there in the escape pod.
Yeah.
That takes you down ever so quickly, just ever so slowly into the sort of like little compartment where you can see other people next to you, obviously, who have all been in the escape pods with you. And then all of a sudden you drop. And then and then it's black, so it's black on your screen in front of you, and it opens up, and you see the world of Felucia around you. It's this giant jungle world, but actually you're in one contained room.
Okay.
Which has all got the.
But it looks like it's outside.
Yeah, so it's got the volume. You know the volume from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That's around you. And this is
that doesn't work for persons, though.
Yeah, but it works until you look at it, and then you're not supposed to go all the way up close. It's a very big room. You're not supposed to go all the way up close because of the fact you're going to have like plants and stuff that's guarding the way to be able to get up to it. So it means you can't
paint the walls then.
Well, it doesn't matter. The point is, it's supposed to be moving. That's why I was going to have the volume.
Okay, it's moving. Okay.
Yeah. So because you can see like the birds flying in the sky over in the distance and stuff like that, and the wind's moving things. But anyway. It's an escape room, and you've got to find your way out of Felucia. And actually what you stumble upon is a couple of clones have been killed by lightsaber blades.
Yeah.
And you've got to find out who did it. And you've got to find out your way out of it. So of course you've crash landed in the corner. And what you can see ahead of you in like a rock face is... it is like a door to a hangar. So you got to find the way in there. Of course, you got to look around and try and find keys into this room.
Yeah.
Try and solve puzzles to get into the room. Of course, you finish the escape room, you get through, and you do see it's a hangar. But in front of you, you see a person get into another starship and start flying off. You get into the only starship that's left. And that starship flies after him. This starship is not just like the same sort of on the same tracks as previously. This is on a roller coaster ride. So you're on a roller coaster ride, and in front of you is sort of like at a safe distance is actually the other starship. So you're basically chasing him down on this roller coaster.
Yeah.
And then as the roller coaster finishes, of course, does some loop-de-loops and stuff like that. Of course, because it's Felucia, it means that actually going on a roller coaster outside is fine because, you can just decorate around this outdoor area like Felucia, and you can make it so that even if it's raining, it's completely safe and stuff. Of course, you finish the starship ride, you get out of the starship, and you find yourself in a large room that sort of has a big circle in the centre of it, right? And you're like, okay, what's this? As you step into the circle, walls come up. Okay? Yeah. This is going to take some doing, okay? So walls come up, so that wall sort of like, imagine you're in the starship and the wall behind you comes, you're in the circle and the wall behind you comes up, which means you can't see your starship anymore. And it goes pitch black. And the other 3 walls that were already there come down. And you find yourself, so as it was in pitch black, by the way, you have a little bit of a, there's meditation music on in the background sort of thing, and you hear the voice of whoever this rogue Jedi was in front of you, and they're talking you through it. Yeah. And they're saying, I'll show you why I had to leave, sort of thing. The next 3 walls come down, and you suddenly find yourself on a Star Destroyer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, no dun, one dun. Around you, so not all the stormtroopers and stuff. You can walk around. The stormtroopers can't see you. When they get touched by you and stuff, they have to act like they've just been like brushed by something. They can't figure it out. So you're sort of like, okay, I'm trying to figure out exactly what's happening. Of course, you've got the voice of this rogue Jedi still talking to you, sort of going, this is what we've got, this is what the Jedi will do to us, sort of thing. And then all you hear is the start of the Imperial March. And we all know what that means. You turn to see, as you on your left-hand side, the door that a lot of these stormtroopers are coming through. Smoke starts to billow out, of course, because he's always got his smoke machine near him. Is Darth Vader. He's the only character. He's the only character who seems to interact with you. He can't see you, but he can sense you. And once again, we hear the so Vader sort of can sense in the same way as he sensed Obi-Wan, and he sends people to search. He's like, I don't trust this sort of thing. The rogue Jedi comes back over the Tannoy, over the Tannoy basically, and says, don't worry, he won't find you. But this is what the Jedi creates. This is what all this leads to. You must see now why I had to leave. And as you're wandering around, you can see in front of you a door that looks nothing like any of the others. It's not like a starship, a Star Destroyer door or anything like that. It's just like it's the very similar door to the one that led you to the hangar on Felucia. You walk through it, and you find yourself outside of the Star Destroyer once more, and into the base of this rogue Jedi, his little hideout. He's not there, but around you are notes. And these notes and these little Easter eggs and stuff like that are important. Because in the final trial, which we'll get to later, it reveals a hidden path and a few clues towards it.
Okay.
So that's important, okay? So of course you then you walk through the next door and you find yourself back into a very similar hangar than you were before, and you see there's one starship left. Of course, it's not the starship that you chose. This is a different starship because
your one crashed.
Your one crashed. So
I'm keeping up.
We now go into the third scenario. So of course, these three. It's important to recognise that you don't do all three of these. You can only choose one each day. So, of course, if you choose a 2-day pass, you can only do one of them. If you choose a 3-day pass, you can do all three. A 4-day pass, should say, you can do all three, yeah.
Yeah.
So the third one is the infiltration of the Hutt cartel. So this, a lot like the first one, you get into your starship and it takes you to the Tatooine spaceport.
Yeah.
Where you have to find... so this is, again, another escape room, same as the last one. But this one is the... you have to basically find clues on how to get through the sort of like secret door of the Hutt cartel. So you'll find a password, you'll find your identity, like the person you're supposed to be posing as, and you'll also find just a bit of backstory about who he is and about what you're going to be doing while you're in there.
Or she, should
I say, who they are, should I say, and what you're going to be doing while you're in there. As you find all the clues and stuff like that, you get through the final door and you find out there's an initiation.
Yep.
All new members of the Hutt cartel, on order of Jabba the Hutt himself, must compete in the Mos Espa pod race.
Pod racing!
Now this, a lot like the last...
Get your bingo cards out, boys. He said pod race.
A lot like that's the point. It's supposed to be a bit fan servicey. A lot like the last one, this is a roller coaster. Not the same though in the fact that it's not up and down and round and round. It's going to be like a circuit. I was thinking about doing something like go-karting and having you literally drive the pod.
What do you mean go-karting? Why can't you just get some real pods in?
Because that's not physically possible.
What do you mean it's not physical? I watched Star Wars Episode 1. I've seen that they exist. What are you talking about?
So the point is, this is a roller coaster.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you do a roller coaster.
But around you, I think the best way of doing it. Okay, it's not a roller coaster. It's a very high speed ride. Think Pirates of the Caribbean on crack. So you're in your own little pod and it's on tracks, but you're going really quickly around this track and there's 3 laps of it.
Yeah.
But around you are other pods. You can see them. You can see these other pods that are also taking place. They're, of course, staff members all dressed up and stuff like that. Yes, these staff members, they get to ride roller coasters all day. It's the coolest job ever, but it's cool. So, of course, you have to race this pod race. But, of course, you're not Anakin. You don't win. Because that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Who would be able to win a pod race on their first time of trying it? Let's face it,
Anakin.
that wasn't his first try.
Wasn't it?
No, he said before he crashed out and did a couple of them, and he didn't finish the last couple.
I'm outing you as a bigger Star Wars nerd.
You sound surprised. So of course you get the punishment.
What's that mean?
Well, if you don't win the pod race,
Oh god.
you've lost the Hutt Cartel money. You get dropped into the Sarlacc pit.
The Sarlacc pit.
So of course this is a drop ride, but it's not just a drop ride like in Felucia. It's a drop ride into another escape room where you have to try and escape the Sarlacc pit.
Okay.
So what we found in Mandalorian, this is just a little bit of lore to make this make a little bit more sense, is the Sarlacc is actually just this giant thing, but it also there's an entrance to it sort of thing, which is where the Crate Dragon was in the first episode of the second season of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That was sort of like the entrance to a Sarlacc pit from the side.
Yeah.
So you have to find your way out. It's a series of gooey, messy rooms that you have to use the utilities that are around you to find a way through the Sarlacc pit, and you find yourself managing to basically cut your way out with your lightsaber, which of course when you drop down you lose. It's at the end of the final thing, and you find your lightsaber in the final room and you use that to basically cut your way out.
Yeah.
Sort of like Qui-Gon Jinn style. You put it into the into like a circular lock in the center. The door kind of starts lighting up in the center, and it eventually allows you to open it because it's like you're destroying the locking mechanism. So of course you manage to then escape there. There's a short walk in the sandy dunes, just because it seems to be round the corner from the Hutt Cartel into the spaceport, where you get to go back into your spaceship and back to the Jedi Temple.
Isn't that just 2?
That's what do you mean? Escape room, pod race, escape room.
Oh, okay. The first bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're now back at the Jedi Temple, and you've completed your mission or missions. So obviously, if it's a 4-day event, you've completed all 3 of them, and you're at the final mission. You've just completed it, and you get to finally debrief with the council.
Okay.
So they take you up in a lift to the council chambers. Now, of course, the people you're surrounded by, they're not the ones that we see in the Clone Wars, because a lot of them are off out doing things. So you have some interim members of the Jedi Council, as well as some of the people who, Disney can afford to get back as holograms.
Yeah.
So they are just projections onto a screen.
Samuel L. Continue.
Samuel L. Jackson, maybe have Yoda, or maybe have, I don't know, maybe Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, that'd be quite cool. So, of course, you get debriefed by the council, who kind of congratulate you on your good work, congratulate you on what you found out, and tell you you're now ready to face the Jedi trials.
Okay.
So there is now one final experience to complete your whole thing, okay?
Yeah.
The Jedi trials. And there's only one thing I could do for this, just because it's basically the way we see the final evolution of a Jedi trial in both Return of the Jedi. No, is it Return of the Jedi? No, it's Empire Strikes Back, and in both in The Last Jedi and also in the Rise of Skywalker. And it's a bit dark, because of course the final part of the Jedi Trials is you're basically faced with your innermost demons. It's a haunted mansion-esque ride. Not ride,
Okay.
sort of experience. So
Experience.
you walk through, and
Yep.
like in the last Jedi, you're faced with sort of like mirror sort of areas sort of thing. You've got to try and find your way through. You've got the tunnel where you sort of hear Darth Vader's breathing. You hear Palpatine's laugh. It's jump scares like people dressed as like zombified clone troopers, or clone troopers just getting shot in the background. It's all these sort of like horrible, harrowing events that you've either witnessed during your journey. So you may have some things like the drop, the screaming of your drop on in Felucia, or maybe even the sound of a Sarlacc pit, or maybe you'll hear the igniting of a lightsaber from the Sith assassin. Depends on all what you've done up until this point. Maybe you'll hear some of the clones, or maybe you'll hear some of the people you've even killed when you were in Kamino or Coruscant or Hoth or something like that. You'll see like the Rancor sort of like appearing, sort of like in darkness somewhere, but also
Silhouette.
yeah, like a silhouette sort of thing. But also, one of the things that seems to happen in a lot of these Jedi Trials is you get almost premonitions of the future. And so you get, just like you see like the Rancor and stuff like that, you see dioramas of things we know will come in the Jedi's future.
Yeah.
Things like you might see a diorama of
Anakin
Ahsoka,
murdering children.
Ahsoka and Maul's fight on Mandalore. You
Yeah.
might see Anakin and
murdering children.
Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight on Mustafar. You might see Anakin murdering children. I don't know. Maybe if you feel like it, you'll probably see Palpatine's rise to power. But I think the final image will be that of the Death Star, and you just see the bright green light starting to ignite before you finally hear Palpatine's laugh, and then everything goes dark. And you're left with two choices. Two illuminations of doors in front of you.
It's the dark side and the light side.
And you
It's the
have
dark
the
side.
choice. You either go and choose the light, or you embrace the darkness. But before we get there,
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier that you'd be led to clues in the Rogue Jedi investigation. So if we rewind a little bit, where you're seeing all these harrowing sights, one of the things you go through is a prison of sorts, where you see people who you may have either recognised through things that you've done here, or maybe sort of like that are in Jedi prisons in other areas. So you may see different aliens and stuff like that. And there's one empty cell.
Yeah.
If you follow the clues given to you in the Rogue Jedi investigation at the end of there, the clues basically lead you to realise that both the light and the dark side of the Force are cages.
Yeah.
They are things that trap you.
Yeah.
And so in that empty cell, behind, so you can walk in, and behind the false back is a door. And that door is your final choice. And in there you find the staff member who is actually the rogue Jedi who you met in Felucia.
Yeah.
And he sort of like, just like you'd see in, so this is where we go to what actually is through all three doors, is you see staff in either side. So of course you've got the light side, which is just the Jedis. You have the dark side, which is a few Sith. And you have the grey Jedi or the rogue Jedi through this third door. And all of them will do their own little spiel. They'll congratulate you on choosing the right way, whichever way you chose. Of course, it's going to be the right way for what the person behind there believes. But because this is Disney, because at the end of the day, this is what we all want, you're then basically, what I would say, the in-world is, we'd call the Vault. So you have the Vault of the Jedi, the Vault of the Sith, and what I'd call the Rogue Jedi Warehouse. It's basically a giant gift shop at the end of the whole thing.
Okay, fair enough. Seems legit.
So you go in there and you're going, okay, you're now officially a Jedi. You can now purchase with your credits whatever you want. You can now purchase with your credits whatever you want as the Sith. You can now use the resources of the Grey Jedi to go and fight for balance in the Force. But you're faced with that, and you get that, and that is how you end. You can leave then knowing that you have gone through the trials as a Jedi, and you've come out the other side, and you've either decided, no, I'm going to be a Sith, and so you can have a red lightsaber, or you can be a Jedi, and you can have a blue or green or whatever, or you can be a rogue Jedi and have a silver lightsaber, or whatever you decide to have.
Yeah.
And of course, there's robes there, there's different bits of memorabilia and stuff like that. That's all for this world. And the whole idea of this is so that you have that experience and you can go through. And yes, if you've not got the money, you can do one experience and you can enjoy it. And if you then want to come back, you can do it again for a different experience and you can do different things. Or you can do the whole lot in one and still have a different ending each time. Because you can decide, well, I'm going to go through the Rogue Jedi ending. And then the next time go, but I don't want to do that now. I now want to do the Sith, or I now want to do the Jedi, or of course throughout different seasons, different events, you can change around each episode. You can sort of go, okay, instead of the infiltration of the Hutt cartel, now we'll go to Mandalore, and you can fight in the siege of Mandalore, or you can go to Jeddah and you can fight in that, or you can have there's been a rift in time and this is now the Sith Academy and you're fighting in the High Republic era, or this is now Luke's Academy and you're fighting in the Rebel era, or the era of the Resistance. And you can change things around and still have that, as you say, the modular sort of like factions being in there. But yeah.
So I have so many questions.
Good.
I think there's some good bones there. I think that sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the choice element where you've got lots of choices to make.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see a flaw.
Oh God.
Are you in each one on your own?
No. Well, okay. Yes, but on your own, meaning in the party that you have decided to come with. So me and you, or me, you, and four
goes
other.
Together.
Yeah, so you can have 5 people in each bit.
Okay, does that work for like when you've got the VR Attack of the Sith? Does everyone a Jedi?
Yeah.
Whose lightsaber are you chasing?
All of them.
Do you see what?
So I get what you're saying, and I'd say all of them because.
Okay.
The idea is,
I'll
of course, whenever you go into these rides and say, you're chasing your lightsabers and stuff like that, you also have to have the lightsabers taken off you because they're actually your lightsaber that you built in the first bit.
Okay, that could be an interrogation. So everyone has to buy a lightsaber?
No. So this is the thing I was also thinking.
From?
So everyone gets a lightsaber and everyone gets their robes.
Yeah.
At the end of the experience, they then get the choice, do you want to keep your lightsaber? Do you want to keep the robes?
But do you get to build it from scratch?
Yeah.
So you can take it apart still?
Well, no, that you can't, but say so.
One of the things that they did, I don't know if you know, I looked into this because I want one. For the current Galaxy's Edge lightsaber, is you can build it from any parts, but you can never take it apart again. So you can't go 3 times and then at home sort of interchange. Once you lock it in, it can't be taken apart again.
Well, when you build it, you're not building it physically.
What do you mean?
So
what do you hold?
You're using an iPad or something of that sort, where you're saying,
what do you physically hold?
No, it's okay. So listen to me. So when you're building it, you're using some kind of screen where you're choosing different modules that you're using and stuff like that.
Yeah, I get that.
And then that is when you decide and you press, submit or something like that, and then you get given that lightsaber. That lightsaber hasn't literally just been built.
So you've got way less combinations.
No.
You got a serious. You can't have that many, because what if everyone does? You've got to have enough for every single person to make exactly the same.
Yeah. But
so you can't have that many combinations.
Because of the fact that there's not going to be So I'd say the maximum you can have in this experience at the same time, and I'm talking literally active. I'm not talking when you go to bed or anything like that. I'm talking literally active. Is going to be about 100 to 200 people.
Yeah, that's a lot of lightsabers you need to have.
Yeah. But this is Disney.
I'm
I'm not talking money. Money is not an object here.
No, I'm saying physically the storage space for 100 to 200 of each combination of lightsaber. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you've got
Well, okay, yeah, but
let's say you have
the alternative.
top, the middle, and the bottom.
Alternative is they get a lightsaber for free for just doing it. Now
No,
you
the
can.
alternative is the cost of a lightsaber is included in their ticket.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is you get the lightsaber for just okay, right. To save arguments and stuff. Well, no, just to save the complexity of exactly what you've just said. Okay, making a decision. The cost of this, because you're paying for the entire experience, the cost of this includes your robes and it includes your lightsaber.
Okay, no one cares about robes. We want a lightsaber. That's all I'm fighting for here. I'm fighting for the people who want to build their own lightsaber. Okay. Next thing. Here's an idea. Here's something for you to add. I think this is a great addition. When you go through the dark side at the end, they change the holocron in your lightsaber to be red.
Yes.
It's the only way to get a red one.
Yeah,
If you want a red one,
that's the that was always the idea. Is the only way to get a red lightsaber is to do that. Yeah.
Okay, that would be cool. So my other thing is, so you've explained a bit with a party. So each party goes on a particular adventure.
Yeah.
But they can't do them at the same time as anyone else. You can stagger it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But that means if you stagger it, each bit has to take the same length of time.
Yeah.
So you can't really have an escape room followed by a escape. Like, how long is the escape room going to take? At least 20 minutes for a proper thinking, followed by a 2-minute ride. Which means the whole thing sort of has to fit before you can send another lot of people through, if that makes sense.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. So how long's each mission in total? What do you think?
To be honest, I was going to say the missions... Because actually, there's one thing I've not spoken about, but I'll get onto that.
Yeah.
I'd say the missions in total take about a couple of hours.
So let's say it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
So this is my next point, which I needed that to make sense.
Yeah.
So you said on a 4-day experience...
Yeah, and I think that's now... I reckon you could do all this in a day.
All of it.
As in, you could do...
You see what I'm saying?
You could probably do it all in a day.
So my next thing, and this is a concern I have, thinking of the marketability. Obviously, the main target audience is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Absolute fans and nerds who really want to do this, which I think is great. I think it's good to give them something. But I think it's also really important that it still hits general audiences. More importantly, the partners, the kids and friends. You don't really want to do this on your own.
Well, I would.
So you've got to be able to. Yeah, I know you would. But you've got to be able to commit. You've got to be able to convince me that I should come along, and that I think is interesting.
Now, here's the thing.
Can I suggest? Can I make a
suggestion?
suggestion?
Yeah, you do.
First? So my suggestion would be, you make each thing. So the experience is within Galaxy's Edge. So this is at the edge of Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Each part of it is your... You pay. When you pay, so you get like a package. This is way too deep, but I like doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Each morning is sort of booked out, or each afternoon is booked out as over your 4-day, 5-day visit.
Yeah.
You have 5 afternoons in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
And so it's less of the hotel being part of the experience. You arrive at the Jedi Temple ready to continue your training, sort of.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it then becomes, because what I was thinking of, you said they like go from their mission to the Jedi Temple to debrief and then to that. When have they eaten? How long have they stuck inside
so
this?
this is what I was gonna say, really.
Yeah.
So this
Go
is
on.
the thing that I think I realised I didn't include, and actually is almost helped by the fact that of what you said there, of almost including it inside of Galaxy's Edge. So first of all, if
Yeah.
Disney was to ever make this, it would be quite a lot to make, as well as also having Galaxy's Edge and having them as two separate entities. I think this would be, like we're seeing with more creation of stuff inside of Galaxy's Edge, this would be an entire experience alongside it. So another thing to have. So that always makes that makes sense. I think what I was going to say is if when it was originally sort of like different days and stuff like that. So obviously there are a few diners and places to eat that are quite famous across the Star Wars universe. And of course you have the cafe that's obviously currently, well, the restaurant I should say, that's currently in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
This would bring along with it 2 new ones.
2?
Yeah.
Oh, what are they?
So of course, because we have Tatooine, one of them is Mos Eisley Cantina,
Okay.
because it makes sense.
Yeah.
And the other one, because we're on Coruscant, it has to be Dexter's Diner.
Fair enough.
And
I'd
so
quite like to see that, to be fair.
the two of those two would exist in the overworld of Galaxy's Edge, or it exists sort of like just around the corner and stuff like that. You'd obviously have Tatooine because of the infiltration of the Hutt cartel, which you could probably see the pod race.
Yeah.
You know, from where you are in, you know, near the cantina and stuff like that. And then also you can also have the diner almost literally like as a, not a food cart, but like literally right next to the Jedi Temple, because we never see it as to where in geography it is next in terms of the Jedi Temple when we see Obi-Wan go in there. It could literally be almost like, you know how you see Starbucks around like universities that are built into university buildings and stuff like that? It could literally be that.
That would be cool.
So that's
Like
the
a
way to do it. And
chain.
of course, yeah, exactly, a chain. Dexter has he's built up and he's managed to get the money to build a chain of restaurants across the entirety of Coruscant, and one of them has got prime location in the Jedi Temple. And of course, in terms of when they'd have time to eat, because of the fact that the experiences aren't all day sort of events, they're only a couple of hours sort of thing, they can have time either side. Your experience when you're in the hotel and stuff like that, of course, would probably have it so that of course you have the first session, I'd say, as a sort of like you get your introduction to the Jedi Academy, and then you have the 2 or 3 sort of things of like how to be a Jedi and learning to use a lightsaber and stuff like that, as we say, the martial arts classes. But they're probably different classes and things, just like you have almost like on a cruise ship. You have these different events and sessions taking place that you can always, you know, pay to go to and stuff like that. There could be more different forms. Of course, there's 7 forms of combat for lightsabers. There could be different forms of lightsaber combat lessons. You can learn about how to meditate on the Force and stuff like that, or you can go to the Jedi archives and learn about the history of the Jedi and stuff like that. And all these different things. Of course, you can always go down to the bar and maybe buy some death sticks or bet on some races, and you can always... I'm joking, please don't buy death sticks.
You could make it just sherbet.
Yeah, something like that. But you can do all this sort of thing, or maybe you can watch the performers like we have at Jabba's Palace, but obviously a little bit more PG. But that sort of like, this is, you know, you could go listen to the Cantina Bar, that, you know, they have their performances and stuff like that, and go listen to some other kinds of Star Wars music and stuff. There are always these different experiences, and I think that's the thing. Like Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars is not something you can make into a theme park. It's more something you can make into a resort experience. But I like this also idea of the fact that you get the clones. And I wanted to do that. I think one of the events I would do is all 3 missions maybe change to all clone missions. And maybe actually one of the events could be that instead of creating your a Jedi, maybe for a limited time, it sort of changes to you enlist in the clone army. and thus you get to build or you can do Mandalorian even as well, and you can build your Mandalorian armor, you can build your clone, and you can decorate it and stuff like that, and it's exactly the same sort of thing. You get the armor and stuff afterwards.
I think it's big. I think
it's
this is
huge. I'm not considering money here. I'm literally going off the idea of what is the ultimate Jedi Star Wars experience for me, and make it interesting, make it replayable, make it stuff like that.
And I think you've sort of hit all the important things. You've got different sorts of things. You've got rides and experiences and escape rooms and all the sort of things people like to be doing nowadays. The sort of fit within Star Wars. You've got laser tag, which I think is obviously something that's really, really relevant. I think you hit the marks with that sort of custom journey. So like every journey you do can be different. You've got those sort of 3 different missions, but within those missions you're doing, it's not one ride, it's lots of different things, and then you're of course choosing the Jedi that you are, the path you take at the very end. I really do that little touch of just getting the only way to get red is choose the dark side. I can just imagine people at the very start going, why can't I pick red? And you're like, this is the Jedi. Only Sith use that, and then they get that choice at the end.
I think the whole manifesto of this is that everyone, as soon as you walk through that door, whatever door it is, of course, everyone there is giving their 110%. They are, honest to God, invested into this world. You are thrust into it, and you should be able to walk around it going, I'm going to invest into it because they're investing into it. I am a Jedi. This is super cool.
It makes a big difference because I feel like merchandise exists. Something that always attracts my attention is something that's like only available at. And I think not only have you got these lightsabers, obviously different set than Galaxy's Edge, but the idea that the Star Wars dark or the red ones from this place, from Jedi Temple, are only available. Once you've completed it, once you've done this, and I like that sort of collectability, replayability that means you want to get everything and this and that, and it is something I can see that not as a huge Star Wars fan, but going, I would like to try that. I would like to experience it from, again, the inside. And I think we're seeing more and more. Obviously, this Star Wars hotel that's upcoming, there's a new Doctor Who theatre show, immersive theatre show in London, and this sort of thing, there's clearly a market for it. And I think something like this needs to be out in a couple of years, so that you are right at the front, you're pioneering it, because it's pretty fun. This hypothetical thing is fun.
Do you know what I'd like? Because I kept asking myself, I was like, what would I want to do here? What would I want to experience? And I went to the Star Wars experience when it was at the O2. I think this was back in 2016 now. And it was really cool because it was obviously just like a Star Wars museum. You saw all the different like costumes and actually used set props and stuff like that, concept art and stuff. But throughout it, you learned about the Star Wars universe, and you got to throughout it build your Star Wars character. You could be a Wookiee Jedi, you could be a droid, you could be anything you wanted to be. You could be a humanoid Sith, and at each of these stations you built this thing. But one of the things it didn't kind of allow for is that little bit of personalisation. And one of the things I was sat there, especially when we got to the end, and I was like, okay, well, what's in this? What's in these gift shops and stuff like? What's the importance of choosing your own
character?
No, what's the importance of choosing your own character? What's the importance of choosing your own lightsaber? What's the importance of choosing your own starship? And of course, you could have a Naboo starfighter. You could have the Jedi starfighters that you see. You could even have the sort of like a prototype first seen here, sort of like TIE fighter that's being built by the Republic sort of thing, or anything like that. And I thought, well, what's the point in that if you can't do anything with it? And so I was thinking, well, in this gift shop at the end, you have, those Airfix kind of models. You can buy one of those for your whatever ship that you had. There's all the different ones there. And then it also has with it a load of different... It's not just like the ones you currently get, which have got certain paints, it's got certain stickers and stuff. It has a load of stuff with it, so you can fully customise it and have an actual version. And you can also then take a picture of you in that starfighter beforehand and stuff, and you're like, yes, I've actually been this, I've lived this, this is really cool, and you can then have that at home with you.
I can do one better if you want to make a real custom experience.
Mm.
I don't know that they exist in a commercial way, but there are these pods of how they make action figures, and it would be very cool
To have your
design the body. So you've got the robes that you've chosen, you select all that digitally, you scans your face, and then over the course of your journey, they build over a few days, build your action figure, and you can take your ship, and you've got this sort of custom action figure
I'm
set.
gonna nick that and go, right, so they scan your head because they need it for the Jedi identification right at the start.
Yeah.
And then wherever
they give you that option.
Yeah, wherever you sort of like turn out at the end, that's where you are. But
and they say, you can buy this. Oh boy.
Yeah,
You'd
but
want one, wouldn't you?
oh yeah, you would. You 100% would. It's kind of like that, but I don't know. It's kind of like that. Do you then take it one step further? Of course, this is Disney. Of course, they'll have the money for anything. So I'm not thinking money
go
here.
on. What is it?
Do you like sort of go, well, you can also buy like little sets of the things you've also been doing. So you can get one of you in the Sarlacc
Too
pit.
much.
You can also have the Felucia battleground, or you can have you fighting alongside the clones and stuff like that.
To be fair, to make it actually cheaper and easier, wouldn't it be cool if you could... So all they do is scan your face. The robes are all the same.
Yeah.
Not all the same, but you can just digitally select. You can choose a pose.
Yeah.
You can add your lightsaber, obviously, because it's customized. Maybe there's a little QR code that comes with it. Mm-hmm. And it just builds a poster or a digital image.
That's what I was thinking. Like, you get like
it
a massive like
in
art
your
piece.
mission.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they could give you a digital one included in your price.
Yeah.
You get to build this thing, and you go, I want to be in the Sarlacc pit with this position, with my lightsaber on, and that's the sort of, and everyone gets one, and it's less of a, because you've already paid for the lightsaber. It's just a little add-on that you can buy as a big blown up thing.
Yeah.
But you don't have to, and it's something that everyone can take away.
100%.
That would actually be much cooler, I think.
Yeah, we'll go with that. As much as a little action figure would be
Star
cute.
Wars.
I think you should still be able to do the little action figure, because you can have them like in your little limited edition case, so that the collectors can like never open
Lose
them and
their
not play
minds.
with toys as they always do.
But I like the idea that they can't collect all of them. I like the idea that everyone's numbered, so they physically can't get all of them.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd do that 100%, and I think that would be. Yeah. I think just the entire thing just sounds like a load of fun. I'd want to work there as much as I'd want to do it, to be honest. Like, I think working there would be absolutely, like, as a Star Wars fan, stupidly rewarding.
Uh-huh.
And I think it'd be, as like someone who would want to work there, I think all the actors would swap and rotate. You're not just a Jedi. You can be a Jedi one day, and then the next day you have to go and be a clone trooper or part of the Hutt cartel, or you get to experience it as much as the.
Well, it'd keep them fresh as well.
Yeah.
So they'd be constantly engaged with it, because they're changing every so often. They're doing one role one day.
Yeah.
And it would also be kind of cool for you as a guest, because you're seeing different faces every time. It's not always just the same rogue Jedi, the same person doing this, blah, blah, blah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm hearing the sort of lift doors being crowbar. Oh, there's a face. Hello. We've been stuck in here for like an hour and 7 minutes or so. Ish. Good thing we bought our podcast. You need to sort this lift out, because I'm not
getting
happy.
stuck in it, yeah.
We're putting in a complaint. It's going right to the top of the Disney offices. We'll be speaking to Bob.
Bob's not there anymore. Did you not hear that he's left?
Yeah, it's Bob Chapek.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about
Bob
Iger.
Iger left. It's a different Bob now.
Oh, God, do you know him by first name? I still just call him Mr. Chapek. I'm sorry.
Sorry, yeah, I call him Bob. We've had a few dinners. Yeah, I know Bob. Exactly. Yeah, that face is real. Get me out of it. Okay, so we shall see you next time on the Stuck in the Elevator Pitch. Tune into our channel, The Two Dudes, for more podcasts and more discussions. As we've said today, we have a Doctor Who theme park episode you can check out. We have a Doctor Who spin-off. We have a Star Wars video game episode. Have a look through our channel. Have a scroll through our Stuck in the Elevator Pitches. And we will see you next time on Stuck in the Elevator Pitch.
Most importantly, may the Force be with you.
And also with you.